All right. Got to get in the mentality for doing some work here. Other rockets are up. Who cares where they come down? That is not my department. Yeah, we did, Sun Temple. The SPAS mission on CTS2 went just fine. Yeah, it actually went pretty good. I learned a lot of new things. It turns out that snap docking locks the KRAKEN tech back into place. We got to be careful with how we do that, but it does work. What, the anvil strike's the best part, dude. For some reason, I just want to go buy 2x4s. I don't know why. For some reason, I just feel the need to buy lumber, Peter. I don't know why. Do we have Tadris sats? Tadris? Yeah. They're actually in the other save. I gotta go grab them. Alright. So I did make a tracking data and relay satellite. Anvil drop incoming. Oh, now that you said it, I'm not doing it. Here, check this out. There it is. The building power of this fully stocked and operational hardware store. Shoot Will in the face, Commander. Sorry, Will. Wait, I'm half paying attention. This is the Home Depot music remix? Yeah? Centaur. I decided screw the IUS. I don't really feel like developing it. Short line. Using the Centaur in an expendable capacity will be just fine. Drop the bass. Anyway. Why is this such a jam? It's because it's awesome. How are ya, bud? We hear any more about that leak? Nope. I think I packaged the satellite up. What the frick? Why doesn't it have anything attached to the satellite deploy? Oh no. Where are the engines at? Right there. Merry Christmas, rockets. Thank you very much. Where's the tunage? All right, well, it looks like it unbound the Cal controller, and I'm not 100% sure why it did that, but it is what it is. So here's what we'll do. Give me a moment. I just got to rebind all of this. I don't know why it didn't take, but it's okay. Just to be absolutely sure that this is all working correctly, I just want to watch the animation go, and then that means we got to get rid of the struts. So here, check this out. You guys want to see how this thing works? I'll show you. I have a SAT deployment mechanism, and it's on a Cal controller because I need to get everything right here. So set those. We need extend antenna for those. For whatever reason, my animation cycle got all screwed up. I don't know why it deletes it like that. I think that might happen if you sub-assemble it. I know they're not linear. I don't want them to be, Mutter. I want them to go slow because the satellite, the solar panels will be in the way. And then I need the high gain antennas. We're going to add both of them. Okay, so take the Cal controller, enable. Let's go over here like this. Set that out. Ready? That's a manual extension.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Warder. And jazz hands. Word. Excelente. So there's my tracking data and relay satellites. the engines are in the back. The propulsion systems are... This is a bunch of flags on the back of here, and we put all the propulsion systems in there. This is based on TDRS A, B, C, and D. So this is a first generation... It's supposed to look like a first generation TDRS. The reason why I made it look like a first generation one is because the second generation one has a foldable antenna that we just don't have in KSP. The first generation ones have antennas that look exactly like TDRS, so this style of deployable antenna. Yep. Do it again, do it again, do it again. All right. No, Velk, it's robotics that are controlling it. It would be subject to the robotics traverse rate. Tracking data in relay satellite. His arms wide. So, that seems to be working. Seems to be working well. So we're just gonna basically just run struts to hold this all together. Go from there. Okay, save that, and now we have to go in here, CTS 5 payload TDRS Mark 1. Tracking, data, and relay satellite Mark 1. Oh, yeah, we gotta make sure we retract the antenna. That's correct, Aldezert. Yep, yep. Okay. So this will be attached to this right here. And will look like this inside of the shuttle's payload bay. We're good, Banana-san. How many tons is this? It's 20 tons. It's a pretty heavy payload to start off. But we can move it. I know we can put this into space. We might not be able to get the boosters back, but that's okay. Yeah, need backup. Should be good. So we got to take those two sub-assemblies. I got to put them into the mission mode save, and then we got to put it in a shuttle. And then we got to do it 3 times. Cool. Sorry, this is the downtime before the missions. All right, let's work on integrating this payload. First thing that we need is to bring up the orbiter. And something that, from the last mission, guys, I'm getting rid of the payload bay cal controller. That's useless. It's just a redundant function. It's a waste of time. I'm not using that anymore. Set the deployment limit to 100 and close it. I don't care if the doors open up a little bit too fast. It's really not a problem. That's the only reason that was there, to slow down the animation of the doors. And it turns into a redundant step if I forget that the payload bay, like, it'll set the deploy limit. The cal limiter sets the cal controller will set the deploy limit to 0. But deploy limit 0 in an open state is not occluding, despite the payload bay physically being closed. You have to actually tell it to close. See the difference? See the difference right there? Close, open. The cal controller didn't like having that function on the end of the cal controller. So instead of literally forgetting to close the payload bay, even though visually it looks open, I'm just gonna use the default animations in it. I don't want to make that mistake. That's something that I'll forget. Oh, the payload bay is closed. See, it's closed. Let's check the part action. Oh, it's not closed. By the time I figure out that the payload bay is still open, it'll be during re-entry, and I don't think I need to say why that would be a bad idea. So we're just getting rid of it, and I'm just using the payload bay opening device. So we still have the payloads in there left over from the last shuttle mission. That's the SPAS. That thing worked really, really well. And then the science palette also worked really, really well. But we don't want those in here this time around.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Some of these I noticed have a toggle on them. I don't want a toggle on the thermometers. So what I'm actually going to do is clear the payload bay. Hey, Rob Cop, 38 months. Yeah, Velk, screw that. I thought you were doing Sandbox Career or something. What made you think otherwise, Jackal? Because I'm in my Sandbox Career save, like right now. UC funds. What? Are you screwing with me? On the bottom left. No, no, I see it. I think it means if you pick sandbox mode, there were no funds, but this is career mode. Yeah, Yenzoku, we're gonna put payloads in it this time around, though. You guys make my head hurt sometimes. No, I literally thought you were going to do sandbox mode instead of career mode. But you asked if I'm going to do a sandbox career mode. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm so confused. That's literally what you're seeing on the screen, Shackle. It's a sandbox career mode. No, I thought you were literally going to do sandbox mode for your version of career with like a rule set. Oh, well, nope. I have a career mode save, and basically the only rule here, guys, I want to do career mode to keep track of funds, dude. But the only, I want to do it to keep track of just all the money we've spent, like on a per mission basis. The only way to do that is to operate in career mode. But yeah, this is that. But the only real big rule of this save is that there's no reverts. Whatever you're doing, you better do it right the first time. No reverts. You know, don't get me wrong, there's not any penalties in the game for failing. Except shame and contempt from chat. Which you know what? That's good enough that's a good enough motivation to not want to fail. That's a good enough reason for me, man. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Oh, it didn't like that. Here's how we're gonna do this. I gotta put in the latching system to hold the stage in place. That's not gonna be too hard. And then we'll hang the satellite on the payload. And then what we need to do after that is I was gonna say, what we could do is try to recover the Puma again. But we could try to use the mechanism, the payload method rules that we just learned. So that actually might be a good idea. Yeah, you know what? You know what? Let's do that. I got an idea. We'll basically analog right out the kinematics. So, when the stage comes back, we're gonna need to grab at it with the arm. So, I'm gonna manually place that point. That's the docking point that we need to get at. So, what numbers are gonna get us the arm that's closest to that? To get us the grapple point closest to that? We want to try to put it back on the stand in the deployed state. So that's where we're going to need to grab at it first. That's not bad. That will work. So if I take a grapple point, basically just a docking point, right? And we put that sucker right there. That combination of numbers with the arm basically lines up exactly. All right, so I'm gonna write down okay, so ideally, we want the stage to be 45 degrees up, but we're not gonna grab it in this state. Where do we need to move it? The thing needs to be like right there, over the thing for us to grab. We could always rotate it. That's not a big deal. I have a we have a wrist roll control on the end right there. So the stowed position, before we get to that point, is target angle 1 on the shoulder yaw. 1 minus 37 minus 77 minus 33 minus 74 and then that one I didn't even move. That one just can be 0. Alright, now how do we get the thing to line up where it is here? So let's try to line up the arm in this regard. So we need to go like up here like this. And then that's at maximum pinch right there. That actually might need to be a servo, guys. 180 degrees of movement is not enough. My arm can't go below 90 degrees. We actually have a gimbal lock scenario there, which is not good. Hey, Tessa, what's going on? Oh, crap. Yeah, that's not good, man. That's correct, Toto. Down on the surface, yeah, it's not going to do anything. Yeah, uncapping, that's just approximately where I need it to be. I'm basically just trying to figure out the movement from these positions. From this position to the stowed position, so the arm basically just takes the stage and goes... Right? This is good enough. This will work. But that is important to note. All I got to do is just latch that port. As long as we rotate this port so the stage is 45 degrees offset to the shuttle, so it lines up with the adapter, this combination of numbers, right? We can take the RMS fine controller, which is basically an unbound cal controller, right? We can take that. We can plug those numbers in as the starting points for all these pieces, and then plug the endpoint numbers in for the stowed, and hit play, and the arm will, all the pieces will move at once, and the arm will should just put it right back in. Should. This is a much better way to figure out the kinematics, Novus, but yeah, exactly. Now, the real shuttle could have done this on the fly because the computers would... If you said I want the arm to translate at 45 degrees down when all the things were like this, then it would have, yeah, it would have just done it. So the staging numbers are -9, -4. I mean, actually, we technically don't even need the staging numbers. We could just wrangle the stage and then figure out the exact positions of the arm that they're in right now, and then the stowed position is really what we want. I suppose I'll take this data as a diagram, as just kind of an example, but let me show you what I'm talking about. So, time to break out kRPC. No. Disable the RMS fine controller. Go in here. So, the controller is disabled. So target angle, target angle, target angle. So for the first servo, plug in the numbers. The value should be -9. Okay? And then the end value should be 1. That's not going to be a crazy line. This one right here should be starting value is -4. And then the end value is -37. So that's the elbow right there. This one starts at -90, which is where it's at because it's gimbal locked. And then over here should be -77. And then -64 to -33 on that one. And then flatten the curves right there. And then this one should be -62. And then that one right there should be -74. Flatten that out. Rotational servo does not really matter. So set this to like a 30-second play, right? X out of this. Go in here like this. I'll put a new Centaur down in a moment, or a new Puma stage down in a second here. Separate this. Reroute to that grapple. And then now we just need to line up the arrows. This thing actually needs to be like that for the most part. For the most part. As long as it's at 45 degrees like this. Now what we do, go into the RMS Fine controller, enable it, set the loop priority to 30, let's just say 60 seconds, right? And then that needs to be set to 0 and 0. I forgot to set the last controller. And then watch this. That will give us our inverse kinematic movement for this particular type, or our inverse kinematic numbers for this particular type of movement. Ready? Boop. It's like programming a computer. As long as you have the end state numbers, the stowed numbers with the grapple, this is going to be easy to do. We could do this with station modules. We could do this with recovering payloads. That's right, Zay. As long as we set the length on the cal controller for the animation, Novus, everything is kind of parented to that number. But yeah, we could delay the rate so we just get a straight translation. Yeah, that's what inverse kinematics is all about. Trying to move all this stuff to get a linear movement. You're using rotational movement to get linear movement. That's literally what inverse kinematics means. Well, not literally, but you get the idea. Not really, again, I haven't been playing much other stuff besides Kerbal lately. I just don't know why that didn't work. My original plugged in numbers should have worked just fine. Unless I missed something. I must have written down a wrong value or something. I know, Novus, I get you. Yeah. That might be enough to snap dock that thing into place, but yeah, it's very misaligned. Okay, well I have numbers that are going to give me a good ballpark here for linear movement, so... Yeah, that's just very strange that that's doing that. It needs to have just that much overlap right there. And it's interesting, that overlap pretty much gives me, if we get the right docking overlap, that gives me exactly what I'm looking for. Wait a minute. Oh. I see what's going wrong up in here. Okay, I used absolute with the rotation. Those numbers are right. I know that for a fact. Cool. All right, so we should be able to recover it that way. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. So let's set that to 0. Set that to 90. Set that one to back to its default position. Actually, you know what? I'll just reload. Perfect. Okay, let's do this. So I want to say, guys, arm recovery, I'm not going to spend like an hour trying to get that thing done. If we can't recover it, we can't recover it. It is what it is. So I'm going to put my mission notes over there, and let's finish integrating the rest of this. So what we need to do is go in here. We need to enable same vessel collision. Enable same vessel collision on those. The Centaur, we need that. But on Action Group 3, we need disable same vessel collision there. And you know what? I won't arm it because I don't want to accidentally hit that button. So, yeah, okay, cool. So now let me go into my sub-assemblies and get my latching system. I don't want everything riding on this small docking port. That's only part of the structure. That's only part of the structure that we use here. So what we need is the payload securing thermobearing. So what we do with the thermobearing, go in here, we select same vessel interaction, which should already be pre-selected. Down here, enable. And we got to go in here, and the thermometers are my latching mechanism. Right? And then if we copy this and we paste it again, I wonder, I'm fairly confident the AGs should carry over. They don't. Okay. Action group state on thermometers doesn't matter through vessel copying, so okay, that's cool. The thermometers are my latching mechanism. Yeah, they're thermo-rectilinear latching banana time. Hand banana. Okay, move Centaur into the lowered state, disable that cal controller, and then lock out motors. Motors are locked out. Now take my latching mechanism here. Is it banana time? Yeah, and something I've noticed, fellas, I reloaded the scene. I reloaded the scene, dudes. All right, Paul. See you, buddy. Good night. So the docking port that I placed on the Puma is, yeah, we got to do that again, but that's okay. That before it was just proving to make sure that that worked. I wonder, you know, like, Loopy was asking me about this yesterday of one of my mods. He was asking me, like, the manipulator positioning mechanism is either in the outward spot or in the inward, like, in spot. I'm wondering if they could take the MPM and stop it halfway so it's pointed straight up. That would make getting these numbers a lot easier. That would be your guess? Yeah. Pocket Guy, you ever heard of NASA doing anything like that with the arm? I would assume it could be deployed to any angle. Yeah, we'd have to go check the ops manual, dude. But yeah, I think you're right. I agree. See, that complicates things because the pin I can't go that far because we only have 90 degrees of travel there. So if we went a little bit further and we went to the wide open spot, wide peepo open spot, I know I attached it to the docking port, dudes. Just in case anybody was trying to figure that one out. It's a servo like the other systems. Yep. For sure. We have to really, I'm gonna have to eyeball this, but it really has to be right. Like, it has to be right down to the angle. So one of these docking ports, if you notice, there's two clipped into each other. One of them is attached to the arm right now in the editor, and the other one is attached to the stage. I just gotta make sure that they're pretty much coplanar with each other. And that's just going to require a little bit of manual tweaking. Our angles are not exactly right. Closer we can get this, the better. There we go. You owe me 2 hat changes now. Oh yeah, okay, here, let me just hit my hat change button. Oh, my finger slipped, dude. That was the timeout button, sorry. Here, alright, yeah. 2 hat changes. All right, there's 1. Okay. There's 2. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it? I shouldn't have moved that. Okay, I gotta write down these numbers here. These are better numbers. So we have 1, once again, minus 31, minus 86, minus 18, minus 72, and then technically the last one is 0, but we need to get the arrows to line up, but that's fine. There we go. That's our stowed position numbers. And then we'll plug in whatever numbers into the RMS controller from there. So take this, move that out of the way, go up here, get rid of that. There should be channel points for eating a hat. Don't give them any ideas. You're on stream, what's up?
Hey, Stream, how you doing? I was gonna run this morning because it occurs to me there's a blizzard, or there's snow coming tomorrow, so I can't do it tomorrow night.
Okay.
I have that list that we made. Is there anything else?
Chips.
Okay, we can do chips.
Beef jerky.
No.
See what I have to deal with?
That's the other reason I was calling, was to make sure that you knew I was gonna go, and B,
So, cereal, milk, eggs, ramen.
I
That's
think that's all on the list. Let me see, what do my list say? Ramen, couscous, chicken, milk, popcorn, peanut butter, chocolate chips, eggs, Reese's cups, cereal, tendies, and tater tots.
It's a pretty good list. We have plenty of TP, don't worry about that. Oreos.
No, chat, bare bones.
Aldezert says, Bremo, it's Cape Cod. We don't blizzard.
No, but there's snow coming.
Hot dogs. Hot dogs. Actually, Tessa said hot dogs, and we actually want hot dogs. So I can make hot dogs and mac and cheese because I'm 15.
Okay, do you have? Yes, you do.
We have some, but we don't have enough that's correlative to the amount of mac and cheeses that we have. We have like 5 mac and cheeses and 1 pack of hot dogs. The ratio is all wrong. It's like stoichiometric ratios with cars. You need 14.1 to 1 air to fuel, okay?
Okay.
We need 2-pack hot dogs per 2 packs of mac and cheese. That's stoichiometric hot dog to mac and cheese ratio. It makes for the most optimum, efficient, delicious.
You know what I'm doing right now?
What?
Googling to make sure I don't need anything else for my Reese's Cup cookies.
You didn't listen to what I had to say.
It's something about stoichiometric
Close enough.
I'm listening. I should probably get new brown sugar.
She wasn't listening. You listened to me, but did you listen to me? There's a difference. That was a no. All right.
That was a why I gotta go to the store and I want to go to the store.
But you have to go be social today. I know it sucks.
I haven't left the house since Monday.
Go touch grass.
No, the grass is cold right now.
Does it look like I care what temperature it is outside? Actually, it's kind of warm, to be honest with you.
I thought it was like crappy and cold. I mean,
It's nice today. It's just rainy.
no. Oh well. Do you know what my jeans are?
The laundry room.
Oh,
Chat says L plus ratio plus antisocial plus snowstorm. Ian, she doesn't know what L plus ratio means.
yeah. What's L plus ratio? Do I even want to know?
You want to know about this L plus ratio, though?
What does that even mean?
No one knows. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Dude, you got my laundry room floor wet.
That's what happens when you take a shower and you have to walk through the laundry room.
What? Need to wash this rug.
Jeans, woman. Jeans, not rugs.
I got him.
You just ratioed your fiance, you maniac. Streamer moment. Gotta get that clout. I'm an influencer, remember?
Jesus Christ.
Tell her the L plus ratio measures the ratio between luminosity and power generation on solar panels. People saying L plus ratio are showing their support for green power generation.
I feel like you're lying to me.
Why would chat lie to you?
I know. Nobody on the internet lies. It's
You
not
think
that
someone
I
would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
I think somebody was strange now.
What?
I don't know. It's being stupid.
L plus stupidity plus ratio. What?
I don't understand your meme. You're not good at memes.
Yeah, I know. Right? Why would that happen? It's not a meme. It's a ratio.
I'm leaving now.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
I love you too. Drive safe, please.
I will.
Let me know when you're home, okay?
I will.
All right, love you, baby. Bye. That was a productive conversation. What did we ask for? I don't even know what I asked for. I think I asked for hot dogs and beef jerky. Did you see that video I sent on Discord? Huh. Oh yeah, we saw this plane flying in the background. More importantly, did you get beer? No. Damn. I think I asked for chips. Yeah, that sounds right. I think I asked for chips. Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope talk or whatever. That's freaking sweet, dude. Cool. Very cool. Thanks, SpaceX. Very cool. Unmute the vid. No. Yeah, it's outside of the TFR, Galactic. Behind the launch site, there's no TFR. The TFR is in the other direction, where the rocket flies. Unmute the vid. No force. Oh, force. More like no force. Got him! Yeah, baby. No, baby. Okay. All right, this is gonna be a funky mission to fly, but first Tidris launch. Zip it in and zip it out. Yeah, all right, Dave, zippity doo dah. I'm removing that docking port. I only want one grapple point on here so we don't get confused. Disabled cross feed on the docking port. The tanks on Tidris are locked, but we can do that just to be absolutely sure if you want. Okay. I want to point out here, guys, the stretch goal is to recover the Centaur. If we can't recover the Centaur, we can't recover the Centaur. This thing doesn't, it really only has RCS to, it doesn't have RCS to be able to do RPOD. It only can be berthed, and that's only with the arm. Like, so if we can't get it back, we can't get it back. The other thing that I should probably add to it is a fuel dump mechanism on Centaur, so we can get rid of the payload, or get rid of any remaining fuel, because I know we're going to have an excess. This is so we can inert the stage before we put it back in the payload bay. Okay, I think we got enough. Let's do this. This is a 20-ton payload. We've tested 18 tons. It can routinely put that up into space. Let me check. It's 20 tons with the stage. I didn't measure with the satellite. Hang on one moment. I did, Electron. Watching it hurts. $632, $162, $635. So it's 23 tons. 23 tons of payload. 24 tons of payload. So this is like maximum payload capacity here. Or maximum what I really want. We could technically move 36 tons into space. So close that. Save. There's one more thing that I want to do. I'm taking toggle pitch off of that top motor, and we will enable that right from the start. Yeah, it'll give us a little bit of a smoother launch. That's what had that right there is the fix to make sure that the boosters don't bump into the wing like what they did before. So save this. Switch the editor. Check the fuel lines on the satellite. I don't think they copied across. They always come in slightly asymmetric, dude. Don't worry about it. I know that that's not a problem. I'll check it here though if you really want. Good eye, Banana Time. I definitely would have missed that. My solar panels would have been floating in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, Stygian, thanks. Thanks, man. We're doing operations and checkout, okay? Yeah, Merkers, I saw that. Thank you for actually reminding me. Give me one moment. Yep, alright. Disable that. Guys, Cletus McFarlane is a YouTube channel that I watch, and he's got a little bit of legal problems right now. Don't get me wrong, it's not anything bad or anything. Long story short, Cletus McFarlane's a YouTuber that bought a racetrack in Bradenton, Florida. He calls it the Freedom Factory. And Freedom Factory is an awesome drag strip and a 3/8 mile oval track. Don't get me wrong, it's not the drag strip. The drag strip is technically Bradenton Speedway, but long story short, a developer is trying to get the area directly adjacent to the drag strip zone, trying to change the zoning from agricultural to residential, and you know what that means. Oh, neat, Loopy. Nice. So, guys, I mean, you know what that means. That means the developer is going to build a bunch of houses next to the drag strip. They're not going to tell people that it's next to a top fuel dragster racetrack and a 3/8 circle track. And they will people will complain, and then they'll shut the racetrack down because they'll complain because they're too stupid to understand that race cars make noises. So, yeah, fellas, if you go over to Cletus's video and send out an email saying that you don't want that land redeveloped, if you're in the U.S., they'll listen to you, which is weird, but all right. Yeah, a yuppie developer wants to build a bunch of McMansions right next to a drag strip, and then basically what developers do that. They buy the land around a racetrack, not really realizing that the area around a racetrack is usually empty on purpose. It's like these morons that buy a house next to an airport and then complain that airplanes are too loud. Oh, we need to shut down the airport. The airplanes are too loud. The airport's been there longer than your house. Yeah, well, we gotta shut it down. It's too bad. It's too loud. Fellas, I'm afraid you're just too darn loud. So, yeah, if you go over there and support Cletus and what's going on, if you're in Bradenton, Florida, if you live there, his court date is today. I think it was this morning. Never mind. Like the people who move next to the hospital I work at and complain about the noise that the ambulances make. Yeah, Superfits, it's literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But yeah, Cletus is trying to be preemptive about that problem and not let it even get to that point. So if you can send out an email supporting him, it's such a good YouTube channel, and the dude literally saved the short track. That short track would have probably been victim to the same damn thing, or it was just abandoned. Yeah, just if you go over there on his YouTube channel, on his second YouTube channel, he has a video about it. Go over there and support him if you could. Like, I don't really ask too many favors of chat, but that's something that, I mean, it's car stuff, and that's very very near and dear to my heart. So, you know, saving racetracks for people's enjoyment is super important. It was this morning for the hearing. I sent out 2 or 3 paragraphs against it, and what I've seen happening at a local racetrack. Yep. In my local hometown, they straight up bribed the mayor to declare protected environments grounds as ready to build just so promoters could be first on the spot. Yep. Yeah, Alex, yeah, that's stupid. Government gonna government, man. Yeah, make sure you go over to support that dude. If you guys would be so bold. I would really appreciate it. Gwen, this one's called Pathfinder. I don't have its flag made up yet. But yeah, my orbiter, the orbiter that I'm currently using we call it Pathfinder. OV106 is its serial number. Because Endeavor was OV105, so I named this one Pathfinder. I don't know if that was the next shuttle, if that they were gonna. I don't know what they were gonna call the next shuttle had they built more. Had they built more, we'll just call it. We'll call it Pathfinder. Pathfinder in my save canon has done 2 missions already, and this is kind of like its first operational mission here. We're going to deploy a tracking data and relay satellite. It's that thing right there. I just want to make sure that mission is checked out and ready to go. I think everything is okay here. Let me just make sure we have some final checkouts here. Yep, that's good. That's good. Strut is run. All right. So I have my Puma upper stage and then my tracking data and relay satellite. What were the shuttles named after in real life? Ships. Old ships. And just, yeah, other names. So, like, Challenger is named for HMS Challenger. It's named after a Royal Navy ship, believe it or not. Does this go to Geo? With the stage, it will, Eukerman, yeah. I will, Urban Hangman, I would like to remind everybody that just launch it only works when we're in engineering mode. So, yeah. Just got back to Boston last night. First semester at Embry-Riddle is done. Nice, Ryan. Okay. FRR has passed. Let's send this thing. Hold. We got to do the editing for that in the VAB. Hopefully the cal controller didn't erase itself. Okay, it didn't. Alright, cool. So, I got to do some work here on Tidris real fast, guys. The struts for it aren't running correctly. Oh, technically not struts, fuel line. But the fuel line is there for show. I hate editing in the VAB. It's so annoying. Okay. Thoughts on lever action irons? They're not space shuttles. That's not the launch button. That's the switch editor button. I hate the VAB's camera. You can't move it around. It always moves around a centralized focal point, which is stupid. It's really hard to build stuff in there. How do you live with yourself knowing that you'll never be a shuttle? I can make one. We'll make one. That's the next best thing. KSP2's VAB camera is better. Urban. Yeah, it's better. A VAB has its own microclimate. I did know that, Mark. Yeah. It's a big enough structure that a crazy greenhouse effect actually happens inside of it. It can form clouds if they don't open the doors. You gotta open the doors to vent it. Okay. This mission, the operational mission, we're gonna have Kelzon and Nicole fly this. We gotta get them out of their flight suits and into their orange suits. And we're gonna be flying Pathfinder again. Who's the payload specialist? We could put 3 souls aboard if we want, but I had Rondard in Lisbon for the next mission, and then we gotta hire more crew because I don't want Jeb on another flight just yet. I want to get a bunch of astronauts leveled up and ready to go. Two people should be enough for this mission. All right. Here we go. Oh, yeah, I gotta edit in the cache, excuse me. 425, 618. I like keeping track of it. Yes, it's a notepad file. Payload, Puma, upper stage, SN01 for now. Insertion parameters 100 to 100, and then upper stage to geostationary transfer. We don't have a launch date just yet. Commander is Kelzon Kerman, and the pilot is Nicole Kerman. Payload mass is 24 tons. We're launching from pad 1. It's the 3rd launch from this pad in this save. We're using Pathfinder on its 3rd flight. Mission description. Tidris 1, Tidris 1, Puma 1, deployment. The mission cost, this one gets expensive, 425, 618. This is a tough mission. All right. Save, we just got to input the right time for launch date right there. Save. All right. Let's go. Where's the transporter? Yeah, Mark, I don't have any of the equipment. I just put it out on the pad and send it. If I could have it my way, I would have built the crawler transporter, the platforms, the service structures. That's like some of my favorite stuff to figure out how to build and how to make it work. Pretend there's a rotating service structure here that's rotating to open up the shuttle payload bay doors. Okay, Puma is in position. We're good. Make sure all my cal controllers are locked out. Don't want that. Don't want that. Server power actuator doesn't need to be locked out. Disable the SAT deploy mechanism, and then the Centaur deploy mechanism should be locked. Cool. Okay, I was going up here to hit the damn save button. Okay, all systems are go. Let's get our mission time here. So that's year 1, day 15. It's literally like a couple minutes after the other shuttle landed, but that's okay. 00:30:52. Okay, we'll launch actually at 31, so I can just make sure that everything is good to go. All right. Collins Transportation System, Mission 3 is good to go. Let's do this. Okay, let's turn on the fuel cells, switch the vehicle to internal power, flip on the 3 fuel cells. Fuel cell 1 is on. Fuel cell 2 is on. Fuel cell 3 is on. Okay. Guidance is switched to internal power at this time. We're going to bring up telemetry display here. Telemetry display is good. Okay. Meant 32, excuse me. Yeah, Ryan, I'll probably end up doing that just because this shuttle's literally, in canon, this shuttle launched like like 3 minutes after the other shuttle landed. So yeah, we'll get into a habit to do time warps here. Okay. T-minus 30 seconds. If we go for auto sequencer start, Pathfinder's onboard computers are now in primary control of all vehicle critical functions. 15, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. Got a good liftoff. Liftoff, CTS-3, the first operational mission for the shuttle in this save. Shuttle has cleared the tower. Roll program. Roll program complete. Roger, roll, Pathfinder. Mission control now in control of the flight. Shuttle carrying its heaviest payload ever thus far, 24-ton 20-ton upper stage and a 4-ton satellite moving up into geosynchronous orbit. Shuttle main engines now going into the throttle down phase as we go through the throttle bucket for maximum dynamic pressure. Quack, I'm controlling. Rate controller. Onboard computer seem to be compensating very well for the shuttle's heavier payload capacity here. Max U. We have Max U 15237. Stand by for the throttle up command. Pathfinder, control your go and throttle up. Roger, go and throttle up. Pathfinder's 3 main engines now throttling back up to 100% of rated performance. The shuttle goes transonic. We're now into the transonic regime. Stand by for the call for supersonic. My engines only go to 100, Aldeser. All systems are looking good here. We've got good booster performance, 3 good engines, 3 good mains. Thrust tailing off and SRB standing by for separation. Wait a second, Endo, watch this. Showing good SRB separation, flight 103 converge. Guidance now converging. Pathfinder's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to swivel, aiming the shuttle for its precise target in space for main engine cutoff. Clock, 2 minutes right on the dot. Shuttle now 38 kilometers in altitude. 40 kilometers downrange. PIO, don't worry about it. PIO. They do, Orion, yes. We put it with a cal we bound it with a cal controller. Okay, rate controllers seem to be good. We might not be able to get the SRBs, guys, just because of the heavier payload. We have a much lower TWR than had been previously tested. When we tried to move this thing up with 36 tons, we couldn't switch to them in time. Okay, rates are looking good. Shuttle, you are 2-engine TAL. Shuttle, your single-engine TAL. TAL call there indicating that the shuttle, should it abort, can it complete a transatlantic crossing on 2 engines and 1 engine respectively. Next step in the flight is the call for ATO. Okay, press to ATO. Pathfinder, you're good for ATO. Okay, Pathfinder, stand by, press for MECO. Okay, we have MECO confirmed. Pretty dang on the money. We have main engine shut down. We're going to use the RCS to reorient the vehicle. At the very end, the SAS introduced some induced oscillation from the computer. But other than that, we're looking really good. Okay. Main engine power down has been completed. Purging systems on the engines have been completed. Moving forward to a separation here on the from the external tank. We are showing a clean separation from the external tank here. Shuttle no ohms 1 required. Welcome to space. Closing out the external tank latching mechanism doors. Latch mechanism doors are open. Alright, let's see if we can get these SRBs back. Where does that tank go now? Laser, the engines are designed to shut off right before the tank goes orbital. It's just going to burn up. Just like the real one. I'm going to see if we can get our SRBs back. My SRBs are still coming back down. Let's see if we can get to... it didn't render that one. Let's see if we can get this one. It's probably going to have a blackout through TDRS. So what I will do is see if this will work. So move that up there. Right? And then arm the chutes. and see if it'll deploy it correctly. Have you ever had a space debris accident in KSP? Never happened before, Quack. No. I had a KSP save that I literally tried to clog up full of satellites just to see if that would ever happen. Never happened. Not even close. We have a loss of signal. Yeah, see, well, we got this SRB back, but it didn't deploy. The sequence wasn't deployed correctly. We have 3 good mains. Oh, boy. See, the real one would separate. The drogue stays on the real one. It stays on the nose cone. The nose cone separates, and the mains, when the nose cone separates, the mains are inside, like behind the nose cone. But we did get one back, which is good. Total fabrication. Tejas will be useful. Once we get the tracking data and relay satellites figured out, Alex, yeah, it'll be very useful. I don't know if the nose cone's going to get damaged from when the booster tips over. Oh. Pretty okay. Where's the second one? Kraken ate it, Nikita. I couldn't switch to it in time. Oh well. We managed to get within 500 meters of debris one time. Just turned the camera on and it was finishing the orbit burn. There you go. And it's good. Okay. We're turning on the orbiter maneuvering engines here. Okay, we are going to complete a second the OMS 2 maneuver here momentarily. Okay, we're aligned here. Everything's looking good. I know about the range extender, Alex. I don't want mods to interfere with gameplay, okay? Too much. Okay, we are 8 seconds out. We have a 61-second burn and we're 36 seconds to node. I like splitting the burn time in half, so we're going to activate the engines for OMS 2 in 3, 2, 1, do it. Shuttle orbiter maneuvering systems engines are online. The smaller thrusters on the back of the shuttle are used for on-orbit operations. The 3 main engines are no longer able to fire. They don't have the fuel tank attached to them. These engines on my shuttle are only designed to pull from that big tank that we just jettisoned. The main engines are only used for ascent. These are used for orbiter maneuvering operations, hence the orbiter maneuvering system. Oh yeah, the shadow of the tank just got cast on the back of the shuttle, by the way, because it's eclipsing the sun right there, which is actually pretty cool. Shuttle using its RCS to stay on an even keel. No problem, Pure. It's my pleasure. Love talking about this thing. It's my favorite vehicle. About halfway through the burn here. Pathfinder completing the OMS 2 burn, Orbiter Maneuvering System Engine burn 2. Burn 1 is in case we didn't have the right established perigee. But all systems seem to be working good for our orbital insertion burn here. Perigee is currently sitting at 65 kilometers and increasing as we burn past the apogee or highest point in our orbit, splitting the node in half. Apogee should stay the same because we're near apogee burning in a prograde vector. We should be increasing perigee and perigee only, which is exactly what's going on. Posigrade burn at apogee increases perigee. Orbital Mechanics 101. Hey Taylor, welcome home. I love this thing. Oh no, it's my favorite. I forgot how much I love this thing. Okay. We have 100.8 by 98.7 nominal ohms burn. Okay, Pathfinder, you are go for payload bay door open. Payload bay door is open, exposing the Puma upper stage and Tidris 1 here to the vacuum for the first time. We're going to move the shuttle into an on-orbit configuration here by enabling the manipulator positioning mechanism controller to move the arm out of the way in preparation for deployment. That requires some motor unlocks here. Manipulator position 1, 2, 3, and 4 are activated. We're going to activate the NPM controller and move our robotic arm out into the on-orbit position. Payload bay door light controllers are on and active. Payload bidet. You're a bit nervous? Why? Okay. Next thing here is to get our KU band antenna into the open position. We're gonna set that to 180. Set the antenna into the extended state. KU band antenna moving into position. Okay, everything is looking real good here. Will the shuttle ever use the RCS to just drop out from the payload? No, you don't want to outgas next to a payload like that Flykin. I mean, it could. It could, but you generally don't want to outgas. But the shuttle does have a the shuttle does have a vernier thrust component. It's able to enter on the z-axis, so the up-down axis. This is only used for, if this is the shuttle and the shuttle's pointed this way, it's only used for z-axis movement. Z-axis translation, they have a vernier engine that's designed, that's a very small motor that's designed for going this way with the shuttle, forward and back. Do you know why? Why would you? So it enables a flight mode called low Z thrust on the real shuttle. Basically, they literally have a smaller engine. That's two of them are facing down in the front, 2 of them are facing down in the back, and vice versa. That smaller engine is to get the shuttle to be able to translate forward and back like this on its Z-axis, which is up and down. For docking, bingo. Yep. So the shuttle can dock to things. Because you don't want to fire these, you don't want to fire all the thrusters here. Also, another thing to note is that there's clusters of thrusters. Shuttle has clusters of thrusters, so you can activate 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. The equivalent in Kerbal would be hitting caps lock. The shuttle came with capabilities like that built in from the start. It's a very well-engineered piece of equipment. Thruster clusters. Okay, our KU band antenna is in the deployed position.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Go to throttle up. Donnie Diggs, gifted a sub to Bruce. Thanks, buddy. Okay, we are on orbit, and we did get an SRB back. We got a single one back though. Can I help you? Oh, okay, cool.
You want to come help me?
No. How much did you get?
Not that much, but it's like 5 or 6 bags. It's not that much.
Okay, I'll be down in a second.
Okay, I love you.
Love you too. Mother, you have the headphones off. You can change hats. Yeah, here. Let me, Thomas. I already changed it. Here, let me just make sure. Let me check my. Let me check my hat changing button right here. Oh God, that's the timeout button. Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry. Oh, frick. Sorry about that. Damn guy drives like an animal. All right, I'll be right back. 1 second. Chat. Chat. Yes. Yes. Oh. She got the chips. She got the chips. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. All right. Where are we? They're original. Now I want crisps. I blame you for this. Sorry, man. Is that a visual mod? Yes. What? So we were 98 on our orbital insertion. It was 98 km by, it was 4. Good. We have NOI. Okay, save. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Loopy, for making that command right. Did you hear that an F-35V crashed in Fort Worth today? Pilot ejected and the plane seems pretty heavily damaged, but maybe repairable. Yeah, I saw that. Dev, yeah, that's not... not an ideal thing. Oh, we didn't safe out the Centaur tanks. Whoops. Okay, we are in the right orbit here. Okay, the shuttle is now in deployment position here. We're going to unlock the motors. Okay. Motor control is unlocked. We are activating the controller for the Puma deploy angle here. Give me 1 second. Gotta answer this text. Give me another second here. Okay, anyway. Would you say this is the most complex vehicle you ever built in KSP? It's not as complicated as the launch pads I'm capping. The launch pad's way more complicated than this. Anyway. Hey man, super chill stream. I'm getting back into KSP after 4 years off. I see this is mostly vanilla. I see Kerbal Konstructs in the toolbar. What are your other 2 mods? What Loopy said in chat. It's just a couple of visual mods here and there, Mike. But yeah, Michael, for the most part, I play the stock game. I have a couple of flag packs for some custom letters and stuff. So KSP a little while ago added flags, so you can see I have a flag over there. You can put alpha channels on them and make transparent flags. So you could make like letters and stuff. My flag pack is ! Flag if you want that. So anyway, sorry about that. I got to answer a message. All right, so let's move Centaur into the deployment position. But before we do that, we need to go into our AGs real quick. And we need to set the latching mechanism into an armed state. We need to disable same vessel interaction, disable same vessel interaction, disable same vessel interaction. And we need to do that, make sure it's done 3 times over on each side. Okay, latching mechanism is armed. So if we hit 3 right now, and we activate the controller, Centaur will move into position for deployment. Hey, nice flags. Yeah, no problem, Michael. You got any other questions, dude? I've been playing KSP literally this entire time. I did take a break from like in late 2021 till about a couple months ago. But yeah, I've been playing Kerbal this entire time. Yeah. I've been playing the same game for the last 10 years, and that is in no way sad. Yeah, pretty much. No, never. And even when I took a break, I was variety streaming, so I played Kerbal off and on. Nowadays, I play Kerbal literally every single day. I might have a problem. Did you need a whole Centaur to get this thing do you need a whole dang Centaur to get this to GTO? No, I just didn't feel like developing an IUS demo. I got bored of it the other day, and I'm like, I don't want this. Yeah, I don't want this anymore. Okay, so you see that? You see that? All right, so let's go over here. Alright. No, that is ugly. I don't like that. You don't need to tell him every detail, man. Damn. Loopy, for what it's worth, I'm going to boost the stage forward. And we'll push it up to a slightly higher parking orbit away from the shuttle. And we'll go from there. Okay, so now what we got to do... extend Tidris's antenna. Two more like this rocket. Don't you want to go lower for Oberth? We could keep it eccentric with the same perigee if you want. Oh, I don't mind the light green snagless. It doesn't really bother me. Okay, we're over the desert here. Okay, shuttle, you are go for deploy. We have a good deploy. Good deploy on Puma and Tidris 1. Moving the pedestal into the retracted separation system. All right, there we go. Bringing Centaur's systems online here for the monopropellant. Centaur now firing its reaction control systems to get put into a higher orbit, so move away from the shuttle. It's supposed to be Centaur G GA, but we call it Puma because you see that antenna? It looks like a tusk. And what kind of animal has tusks? Didn't I tell you guys to stop making up imaginary animals? Pigs. Apples. Very small rocks. All right, let's go back to the shuttle and make sure the shuttle is in a safe configuration. A jet, chupa thingy. I like it. Got a nice ring to it. It's kind of like more like a big cat. What, like a puma? Yeah. Okay, 2863.3 is what we're aiming for. I'm just going to leave the shuttle right there. I'm kind of wondering if we're going to have a signal over here. What, like a Puma? Yeah, there you go. We might be able to relay through the shuttle here, but where the ground stations are might be the only place where we have a good array. So here's what we'll do. .2860, is it 2868.3? That's Geo. Okay. Let me just be sure. Nice. .2863.3. Got it. Why do you not have the Delta V? Haven't turned the tanks or the engine on. Okay, we're gonna begin Centaur or Puma Cheetah upper stage. Puma Cheetah upper stage engine chill. Oh, that's pretty good. Bringing the tanks up to flight pressure. That was totally an accident. Cheetah. Pog. Alright, so fellas, there's one thing that I forgot. We decided we were going to try to do a Puma retrieval, but I'm actually not going to do that. I said it was a stretch goal. The reason why? I forgot to give this something to be able to stay on orbit before the batteries die. Seriously, it won't be able to complete an orbit before the batteries run out. We're not going to do anything dumb. We'll dispose of this one. We'll dispose of it, inert the stage, and be done with it. Thrust limiter check. Nah, Alex, that's... Nah, I don't want to do that, dude. I'll dispose of it, Admiral. We have the Delta V to do it. Shutzy, I figured out a way to do it, and we have the grapple point for it, but I didn't give the stage long enough of a lifetime to go all the way around. And I don't want to do a recovery operation and have the probe core on this thing croak. Yeah, that would suck. because then I can't control it, and I don't need that near my shuttle when I can't control it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to take the risk. Screw that. We can retrieve the next one. Okay, we have a 1 minute 31 second burn time. Half of that is 45, so we should be good to go for insertion here momentarily. What is a super synchronous orbit? When you shoot apogee way past geo, so the satellite actually utilizes the opposite of the O-berth effect to get into its orbit. It actually takes less delta V. More delta V from your second stage, though. All right. We have a good upper stage ignition on the LVT-91. Yep. Less inclination, less delta V to change inclination as well. That's right. And we got a good acquisition of signal through KSC now. How did you get so smart on this stuff? Just reading? It's a hobby, well, passion of mine, laser juice. But yeah, for the most part, dude. Yeah, I'm just a big nerd. That's all. Stage is burning very, very, very nicely. Okay, we have engine cutoff. Puma will now use its RCS to shore up the rest of the orbit to give us a good insertion. (2868-330). We got a good insertion burn there.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Chris's Bunny 2! Welcome to Mission Control, your go at throttle up. Thank you. What longitude do you plan on placing the satellite? This should get us like over here somewhere relative to KSC. I'm not exactly sure. So 1 hour and 22 minutes is give or take about a quarter of a rotation. So we're a quarter of a rotation off from where we are right there. The satellite should be over here. And then I can triangulate the rest of the network off of that. I really wanted to make it so one would be hovering over this all the time, hovering over KSC. And we might be able to shift the entire system later, but I don't think I'll have line of sight. That would mean I'd have to burn over here somewhere. So honestly, if it's not perfectly triangulated over KSC, that's not really a big deal. Who cares? Oh yeah, it's 63, sorry. Yeah, 68 was the other thing. Don't worry, we can shore that up. My satellite, Tidris has a lot of extra delta V in it on purpose. As long as we're in line of sight of KSC when we get out here, we will be fine. And I think we will be. Exactly, Alex. That's why I did the math in my head when we were after the Centaur deployed. I'm like, where are we? Okay, we're between desert and KSC, quarter of a rotation. I really should have deployed it out over the desert just a tiny bit earlier, but it's okay. Fun fact, something like this actually happened with the actual Tidris. The upper stage broke. And they had to make a shift like this. Yeah, that definitely happened in real life. Tidris A was not on the right orbit. Okay, shutting down the engine, saving it. Engine purge out is complete. It's not really having enough juice, Def. I could get this thing to ELU with the amount of Delta V we have. Hey, Tren, what's going on, man? All right. Okay, stand by for separation from the Puma upper stage. Good man, waiting for my shift to start. Shift to start to launch a rocket. My guy. Make sure the SAT is full monoprop and fuel. She's good. Okay, we got a go for deploy. We have a good deploy and separation, and we are getting a good signal through Tidris. Or good communications with the satellite here. Now I'm gonna open up the monopropellant tanks. Monoprop tanks are good. Okay, now the Puma stage we will put into a safe position once the satellite is clear. You built that? Yeah. Yeah, dog. Reintroducing chill down on the Puma upper stage. Activating the thrusters for tank ullage in preparation for the burn. We've got a good burn from the Puma. Once again, this burn is for disposal. We have a good indication of a disposal burn on the Puma 01 stage. Inerting the stage now. Okay, stage has been inerted. Snack, let's follow the mission profile. Changing the mission on the fly is not usually a good idea. Okay. We'll get the next one back when I give it a fuel cell. Or we'll design a solar panel array thing for it. This is just carrying one right now, Atren. $2863,154. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna go in here. Pressurizing the propellant system.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Snagless, 43 months. Thank you. We're losing signal to the shuttle. We might be in a little period of communication blackout here. We are in communication blackout. KSC should come around here as we approach apogee. We might be able to gain reacquisition of signal through the shuttle's KU band. It didn't like it. We'll get in range. The ground stations aren't doing their thing. Rocket guy. I thought Tidris would be able to bounce the signal correctly. How are we not in line of sight? We are just on the cusp of not having line of sight. That's ridiculous. I knew I should have burned it a little bit earlier, but it's okay. We can adjust. It's not an issue. We might get a reacquisition of signal here right after apogee. Yep. Cool. All right, we can do the burn now. It won't be pretty, but we'll do the burn. Reorienting the vehicle and giving the command for insertion here. When you hovered the previous cursor over a relay station, it said it was unmanned. No, it says this facility can be a ground station. This facility does not require staff. And did you purchase the station? I think that's the problem, Snackless. We're going to need to go around after CTS3, fly around a little bit, and go and purchase the stations. But it's okay. We can get there fast. There's runways everywhere. We place runways all over the place, so we can get there a lot quicker than last time. I've officially submitted my last assignment for a Masters of Education program. 12 months of intense work, 4.0 GPA. Dude, good for you. That's not easy. Good job. I mean that, Crash. Could it have been 5? Dude, 4.0 is no joke, man. Could have been 5 though. I'm going Asian dad on you. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah, A-Trend for sure. We're gonna build SETI near the desert airfield. We could, Panta. Not even 5.0 SMH my head. I had a 4.0 till you got into nursing school. Yeah. You know, Vanilla Ice talked about getting a 5.0 GPA. Cruising around with my 5.0 with my rag talk down so my hair can blow. That's what he meant. He was talking about his grade point average, right? My truck has a 5.0. Does that help? Yay, Trent, I know, you're just a regular bonehead. Hey, A1A, Beachfront Avenue. Do. I like to sample songs. Yeah, it's a smart truck. Yeah, look at it. Of course it's smart. Look at it. See? My truck chose to go indoors during the winters because it's smart. That's the reason. That's awesome, Snackless. Seriously, that's actually really cool, man. I can't believe it. You never know, dude. It's a leaky 5.0. The transmission is what leaks, Shadow Man. The 5.0 that I have in that truck actually does not leak oil. Your truck's wheels have wheels. Sup, dog? We heard you like wheels, so we put wheels on your wheels so you can wheel while you wheel. More wheels is better. Are you going to try to stay up and cover all 3 Falcon 9 launches? Actually, Starship testing got a little ways away from me, A-Trend. I think I'm going to cover SWAT, then take a break, then come back and get the other 2 launches. We're going to get all of them, though. It depends on what's wrong with it, Rocket Guy. That's the transmission that I dropped. See last. The cherry on top is I get to teach students at your old high school. Oh, nice! About physics? That's what I'm talking about, man. Remember Dan? Radial out. Dan. I launched some satellites, Dan. Would you like to launch some satellites, Dan? Dude, that means a lot. I will send you SWAT swag. Okay. That's a deal. Sorry, what is SWAT? Tomorrow, SpaceX is launching a ocean level monitoring satellite called SWOT. Space water and temperature. Oh, bananas. I forget what the acronym is. Sorry. Can't tell planes yet, but I'll be doing a lot of fun things. Also in the summer, I get to try to work the overnight shifts because that's when they do repairs on equipment and I could get some good experience. Also a nice thing that we're basically the staging ground for a lot of air ventures. Sweet. I'm pushing it up to 70 on purpose so we can slow down. And get this thing into its final orbit. Okay, guys. We will fine-tune the positioning of this satellite in a moment. Let's get the shuttle back down. I'm not going to recover the Puma. We'll switch back over to the shuttle. Man, Orion got cooked. Yep. What is the name of the emo character you use? Dr. Peter Parameter. Atmospheric Penetration is the video. Dr. Peter Parameter. The thermokinetic displacement through a nonlinear... No. The thermokinetic displacement through a plastic nonlinear density at random velocities and angles, which can just be about summed up by this equation here. I didn't say that right. Okay, since we're not going to get the stage back, what I'm going to do is... It will scan the surface water of Earth every day, 8 terabytes a day of data, and make it freely available to the world. Yep. Centaur integrated support structure is in the retracted position. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for watching, Adrian. Okay, Puma's completed its disposal. It's burned up. Night, dude. Have fun on console, man. How did launcher work from the bay? Everything went good, lols. I got some really nice pictures. We have enough time and consumables on the shuttle to be able to get this done right. Yeah, we shifted it back and now we have line of sight here. .2863, 334 at 0 degrees inclined. We are good. All right, we just need to let it go around over to the other side here. Okay. That thing ain't falling out of orbit anytime soon. I think we're close. That's literally 0, like 0.001 eccentricity. I think we're good. Shut down the monopropellant systems just to make sure we don't screw that up again. Monoprop systems can be safed and closed out at this time. Shut down the engines. $20 too low. Oh, 559.9. Huh. It's 2863.3, or is it 2868? Hold on. Maybe it is 2868, dudes. It's 63, that's right. Hour 59, 9.4. Snackless, you know what? Now that you're talking about it, I remember. Why is it doing that? Oh no, I screwed it up. No, we're good. We're alright. Reorienting the satellite here. Stand by for deploy. I don't know, I just know that Kerbin's day is an annoying 50.575 seconds short for some reason. Oof. Yeah, it's side. Yeah, that's it, Peril. That's the thing. Yep. Now we're talking. Yeah, pretty much snackless, yes. Okay. Locking that all out. All systems are locked out. All right, let's see if we relay for the shuttle. Shuttle's coming around. Let's see when the shuttle goes out of line of sight. Yeah! All right. We are relaying the shuttle. Okay, the shuttle has a good acquisition through Tidris. All right, let's bring her back down. Switch back over to Pathfinder. Let's bring it on home. Yeah, Tessa, it don't get better than that one, huh? What does the ECC read out? It's got to be to like the 1000th decimal for it to freak out like that. Not bad. Looks like you've done this before. Look at that. We got a signal through Tidris, baby. All right. Nice. Very good. Okay, we have lost a signal. We have a reacquisition of signal. That one satellite, man, is doing a lot of good work. Okay. We're going to move the manipulator positioning mechanism into the stowed position to get ready to come back down. Full network here, guys, with the coupled with the deep space network, we are like really good. Hey Pythos. Hey Pythos. You want to see something? Is it the F-35 ejection? Yup. Yup. It's like watching a train crash. I can't. What are you doing?
Oh, he just crashed.
Yes, he did, man.
Oh, shit.
Oh. Go.
Oh, shit.
The guy, I didn't watch it with commentary before. Oh, God, that's hurt. That hurts. That hurts to watch, dude. I hate it. I hate it so much. It hurts. I can't look at it. Oh, shoot. It's a rat. Yeah, Jim. It still hurts to watch. We wouldn't be watching it if the pilot got hurt. Let me put it to you like that, buddy. Okay, Pathfinder, you are go for payload bay door close. You are go for hamsters. Get it? Go for hamster. MPM manipulator positioning mechanism is in locked. Oh. You guys didn't see that part. Guys, I forgot to close the antenna. Oh. Up, we chopped it off. Alright, sorry about that. I think we lost the high gain. Oh, crap. Yeah, probably should. Guys, actually, honestly, I've never used the antenna with the shuttle like this before, and this is how it should be used, except the whole closing the payload bay while the antenna's still out thing. But yeah, just pretend, you know, you didn't see that. Sorry about that. Oh, we're gonna go around. I didn't get that right. Okay, Pathfinder. On the big loop, you're go for deorbit burn. How do you know when to launch the satellites to have them equal distance from each other? Well, Cody, in the case of TDRS, the tracking data and relay satellites are in a geosynchronous orbit. So that means their orbital period matches Kerbin's orbital period. So if Kerbin takes about 6 hours to orbit, right? So how much does TDRS-1 that I just deployed? What's its orbital period? The time it takes to do one revolution. It's exactly synchronous. It's exactly synchronous to Kerbin, right? Okay, so think about this for a second. How are you going to get an evenly spaced orbit? How would we do that? Give me 1 second. Got to do my deorbit burn. Activating the engines. Go. So I need my satellites equidistant from each other. So take 6 hours, divide it by 3, right? So I need my satellites spaced every 2 hours, so to speak. That's my spacing. So how would we do that? Okay, we got a good deorbit burn. Shutting down orbiter maneuvering engines, safing out the system. So how would we do it? How would we get it perfectly spaced? Alright, so here's the trick. What if I find an orbit with a 4-hour orbital period, but the highest point in the orbit is where I need the satellite to go. Consider this for a moment. So the next mission that I launch will put a satellite up there, right? It'll put one up, and then I basically make it so it does a rendezvous with the first satellite. Only when we get to the first satellite, I increase the lower part of the orbit. I increase perigee of the orbit to be a 4-hour orbital period. If the top one is on a 6-hour orbital period and the satellite that I just put, the bottom one, is on a 4-hour orbital period, when it rotates around, it will be exactly 2 hours ahead of the first satellite. Literally rinse and repeat 3 times. Then you'll get perfectly spaced networks. You could even have an upper stage with multiple satellites stacked on top. Deploy one, put the stage into the right orbit, come around, deploy the second one, come around, deploy the third one, and it'll perfectly space it in one shot. Does that make sense, dude? Well, you got to burn in low Earth orbit so you get a rendezvous with the satellite that you're trying to get near. You got to rendezvous with it, essentially, and then change your burn. So when you go around, you're exactly 2 hours ahead of it because you're in a lower orbit with a 4-hour orbital period instead of a 6-hour orbital period, right? That makes sense, dude? You take 80 from 200, and we make a deal. You subtract 80 from 200, and we make a deal. Hey, Reaper, is it really 3 Falcon 9 launches set for tomorrow? Yes. Actually, one of them got delayed to tomorrow, Reaper. The SWAT mission. Stop telling me to do math for a game, please. Okay, Survey. You want to know how you get it? You get the satellites to line up? Magical fairy dust. Okay, bring up the speed brake controller. Speed brake control is up. Body flap controller is up. Both are in the armed position. Let's bring it on home. By the way, the Starlink flight from LC-39A will be on 1058.15. The Demo 2 booster will fly for the 15th time. Who's responsible for keeping the sheep off the runway? I'm not landing in New Zealand, dude. Yeah, alleviate. That makes sense. Schultz like, I think that's a great place to land there, mate. New Zealand? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you all sound the same to me, Shutsy. Sorry, man. You all sound the same to me, dude. Oof! Oof! So how would you... Bro, we've got to go to New Zealand. Nope, that's British. Nope. You mean you don't know where it will land? No, of course I know where it'll land, Christmas. I'm aiming for a runway. But the thing about the shuttle is that shuttles don't need to be ballistic. You don't need to just let it go through re-entry. It has wings, and those wings are designed to, fly. I'm flying to the runway. We're just flying to the runway at like Mach 20 or something. Mach 7. Excuse me. That was actually better? Alright, cool. I'd have to listen to Peter Beck talk more, Shutzy, and then I could get it down. Reason why I can just kind of switch back and forth between this and Australian is because I've watched way too much Skid Factory, mate. Way too much. Well, watch a lot of that show. Really good show. Thanks, mate. Thanks. So, like, Shutzy, if I'm talking to someone from New Zealand, I can hear the difference, but I can't speak the difference. Does that make any sense? Which one is the most funny accent? Boston's or New Jersey's or New York's? Piss off. That's the best one. That's the most funny. Piss off. How about that? Alright, we should be getting into the fiery stuff here in a moment. Bring up the rate controller here. Lens flare, lens flare, lens flare. Do you know that the shuttle actually had a camera up here for a little bit of time? Columbia had a camera mounted up here called the Silts Pod. Seriously, shuttle had a bunch of cameras built into the tail so they could look at the wings during re-entry. True story. There are plenty, Urban. There's RSSRO right off the bat, or JNSQ. There's plenty of mods for Kerbal that change the solar system around. RSSRO is real life. Like, you can launch from Earth and stuff. Silt's got some awesome pictures, dude. Je ne sais quoi. Hi, I'm T-Man. I want you to change your hat at critical points during the mission because I'm a dingleberry. Birch is like, I did that yesterday. Okay. Bring her down. And I'll do it again. I'll freaking do it again, too. Yep, we are A-OK. Yeah, Denver. This is so messed up. I'm like, I'm not touching my face or head right now. What are you, nuts? I look like a coal miner. I'm gonna smell like a taxi cab. Not that that's bad. Sorry. Oh, that's good, Forge. Oh, yeah, apply those. Oh, there you go. Could you show the lift forces for a second? Why, certainly. Sir, your plane is on fire? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Juice, you're not wrong. That's just a plasma knife. We're crossing the coast at 1900. This is looking real good, actually. Looks just fine. Alright. First S turn here. Pathfinder coming back from its third mission here. Roll reversal, back to the left. Bank angle. Beck angle. 1100 over the mountains is actually kind of slow. But our trajectory looks okay, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, Pathfinder, control, UHF comm check. Hey Insig, what's up, dude? I mean, you're wrong, but that's okay. Pathfinder, mission control, UHF comm check. Pathfinder, control, UHF comm check. How do you read? Well, this is Pathfinder. We're doing Mach 2 here. Heading 114. Man, this thing sailed really far. In real life, did they attach the shuttle to the main tank and erect it, or was the tank erected first? They stacked the boosters first, Nazalite. Boosters go first. So they stack the two SRBs, and then they hang the external tank from the boosters on two big pins. They hang them there, and then they attach the shuttle last. The entire... So Buran Energia had two Zenit boosters first, Or 4 zeniths first, then core stage, then shuttle on top of that. Sonic booms just heard at the Kerbal Space Center. Yeah, the external tank and shuttle literally hang on the SRBs, dude. Yeah, pretty nuts. Shuttle's transonic here. Coming around for heading alignment. Pathfinder doing a heading alignment maneuver. Pathfinder doing a heading alignment maneuver here to line up with runway 27 in preparation for final approach and landing. This is cool. I'm glad you like it, Mod. Trailer hitches, or are we talking bigger of a pin? You can Google it, T-Man. Yeah, I'm flying my shuttle right now. Want to get her back down on the ground. I'm using a Logitech Extreme 3D Pro to fly this thing right now. Yep. Kelzon and Nicole turning the shuttle here to line up for a final approach here with the shuttle. Still in the heading alignment maneuver. Yeah, being a little bit up in the air is okay, Shutzy, but I'll tell you what, with this thing, the ground's gonna come up real quick. It's just the camera angle. Look at our... We're 30 degrees nose down, and we're not gaining any speed. We're actually slowing down. Let me close up the speed brake a little bit. Trust me, all that altitude is needed. I'll have this thing down on the hash marks. Don't worry. Our descent rate is absurd, Deadbringer, yeah. Yeah, fall. That's what it should do. The shuttle was supposed to stay up there as long as possible and literally fall out of the sky. Kelzon has completed final heading alignment, lining up with 27 here. Shuttle 0. Pathfinder runway 27, winds 200. Wind 200, 5 knots, clear to land. Okay. Ground altimeter is online. You're coming. You're down. We have touch. Oof. Nose gear down. Body flap safing in progress. Or speed brake safing in progress. Body flap safing in progress. Control, Pathfinder's on the rollout. Sorry, Owens, I've done it for a little while. Safing out our control surfaces. That's right, Chris, coming back from a nice trip there. The world's greatest flying machine, I tell you that, it was super. Convoy 1, wheel stop on Pathfinder. We have wheel stop. Pathfinder coming back from its third successful mission here, deploying 1 tracking data and relay satellite.
On the Columbia, wheel stop.
The maiden voyage of Columbia has been a success. The astronauts and the vehicle have met or exceeded all 144 flight test objectives.
I don't know who that is.
The integrity of all the systems, propulsion, avionics, structural, flight control, power, and thermal, have been affirmed. John Young's comments after returning home.
I can't tell you what a tribute that is to the American working man and the American working woman, too. You can't imagine the variety of people who worked on this vehicle, from all walks of life, all capabilities and limitations. It's all due to their individual efforts. They proved that they can do the job. They proved it for the world to see. And I'm mighty proud to be associated with folks like that.
What a tribute indeed. The Columbia represents an achievement in aerospace technology and development never before realized in the history of manned spaceflight. It is our basic building block for the future.
It's what we've been trying to do for the last 10 years. We've got a vehicle with a payload performance that will allow us to do that, much cheaper than we've been able to do it before. It will immeasurably improve the defensive capability of the country. It will help develop space science and technology. When we get operational, the space shuttle will be able to do in 5 to 10 years what it would have taken us 20 to 30 years to do otherwise. We couldn't do it if we didn't have the space shuttle and that payload capability. And the sooner we do those things, the better off the country's going to be.
A revolutionary new era in space transportation has just begun. Routine access to space. Welcome to the future.
Good mission. Good mission. Had the payload. Centaur. CISS held up. Arms good. Everything's good, man. Everything's real good in there. This thing's great. It's a great vehicle we made here. So, crew duration, year 1, day 16, 05:26:21. It was up there for mission elapsed time, 1 day, 4 hour, 54 minutes, 21 seconds. Cool. One SRB recovered. Routes. Puma 1 upper stage was not recovered and put into a disposal orbit due to not having the required power generation systems to get to RPOD with shuttle. Rendezvous proximity operations docking with shuttle. Cool. All right. Excellent. All right, let's put this thing back into storage. I'm not exactly sure who that is and what's going on with that person, but Bill seems to be like, all right. Thanks, Christmas. Yeah, that's right, Blinga. I'm not sure. I think he's just chilling. Yeah, that's a little strange. But we're just gonna not read too much into it because we're all mature here, right? Right? We're all just gonna not read too much into it because we're all mature here, right? Guys, where'd you go?
Discovery, go at
Paco, 62-month resub. Thanks, man. All right, so let's grab that. Nicole, come on down now. Kelzon, come on down. I don't know who that is, but I will recover them. And we will recover the shuttle as well. Let's get our hold down points back. And is that booster out there? Can we see it from here? Nope. Did Venture Star have any advantage over the space shuttle? Single stage to orbit, Praga. No need to go fish boosters out from the ocean. You landed on the runway. If the runway's near the launch site, you tow it back to the launch site, put it through integration, and that's it. Sweet. Wait, do you have that guy in the astronaut core now? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. No, I don't. Okay. Have you ever Duna tested it? What's it? Ooh. It looks like we got some commercial missions. Attach a new part to a satellite in orbit of Kerbal. Build a new orbital station? Wait a minute. I'm feeling some getaway special here. Are the ground stations working now with the relay? I don't think they are, Trafalgar. I think we have to go back to them. All right. Repairing a satellite, huh? I think we'll take that. Position satellite in specific orbit of Kerbal. 1 degree inclined, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He's talking to me, see? He said, uh-huh. Green Kerbal. Oh, not bad. Whoa, that satellite's way out there. Centaur. Centaur will do that. Not bad, dudes. Not bad. Very nice. So 373, 837. How much money did that mission cost? 425. So we lost the external tank, we lost 1 SRB, and obviously the payload. Hey, not bad. Not bad. Shuttle's paying for itself. Do you think Snacks will be a resource in KSP2? I hope so, Doom. That would be really cool. Could you check the Kerbal Konstructs button in the tracking station? You might need to open you might need to open the stations through that. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're going to need to fly back out there, Thomas. Fortunately, I have a plane that's a little bit faster. Yeah. The K-101? That thing is a death trap. I was thinking we could use the 990. K101, I tried it using FAR and couldn't get it off the runway. Oops. Whoops. Well, passing... Remember the K-78 that I made the other day, the cargo plane? We could go flying that thing around. That thing is able to be time warped. So you could fly it really, really fast. It'd take 15 minutes to get to the desert. Well, we have K9, we have the K92. But, yeah, that thing doesn't fly very fast. But it has insane range. We'll do that to, you know, we could do it tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll shore up a plane. I'll do that first thing. Shore up a plane, do some flights, and then get the next shuttle mission in. I wanted to do all three today, but yeah, Starship testing got away from me. So we'll do the second mission tomorrow. Some flights in the second mission tomorrow, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Tomorrow's gonna get clogged up with actual rocket launches, so yeah. So we have a launch at 6 in the morning. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. I woke up for the SWAT launch this morning. I saw that it was scrubbed and I changed the title of the stream, but I did not. I actually forgot to shut off my alarm. So I've been up since very early this morning. So we're going to stop right now for the time being. I don't usually stop this early, but SWAT got 24 hour. It got moved 24 hours, so it's going to be tomorrow at, well, let's check right now. Let's check. What do we got? Next space flight. What do we got here? So tomorrow we have SWAT, O3MB Power 1 and 2, and a Starlink. There's also Electron at 6 on Sunday. Well, Rocket Lab's on the 18th, so we'll see what happens there. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be, we have 3 Falcon 9s ready to go. This mission, from what I understand, is going to be the 15th flight for that first stage, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, this is next space flight. My buddy Michael runs this. It's all good. So yeah, tomorrow what we'll do is I'll cover SWAT, and then I have some other stuff to do. It's at 6:46, so I will see you guys at 6:30. We'll be back for it. I will see you guys bright and early for that. I'm gonna cover it, and then I'm gonna stop, and then I have some other stuff to do. And then I will come back at noontime. We'll get the flights done. We'll cover the back-to-back Falcon 9s, and then we'll do a shuttle mission. And we'll do a shuttle mission. And then at the end of the shuttle mission, we'll race. How's the snowblower working? Snowblower's fine. I ended up putting the whole thing back together. The auger works, but it leaks oil, Shutsy, but it works. It's good enough. I probably should take it apart again sooner rather than later, but it's ready to go. It'll work. I ended up staying up that night. I stayed up till like 4 in the morning that night after the stream. I stopped at like 2 a.m. my time, and I was just like, the shop was a mess, so I cleaned everything up. I swept the floor, and I put the snowblower back together. I made the gasket out of Permatex with Permatex, dude, so I bought more Permatex. I bought better Permatex that's actually in a Cheese Whiz can. So that's pretty cool. Not that some of you probably don't know what that means. It's good that the launch is then. I'm expecting deliveries, but would usually be asleep. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, guys, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be around for Electron. I actually might. I'm going to be at my parents' house on Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, I usually don't do anything. No computer, no nothing. I usually just that's time for family and stuff. That's important to me. So, guys, that's on a side note. Just while I have your attention, before you go, guys, I'm going to take Saturday off again, but I'm going to stream on Monday. Okay, and we'll stream Electron if I can get to it. Well, if I figure out a way to do it, we'll stream Electron on Sunday afternoon. So couple of things about I'm gonna take Friday off except for racing. I like coming back and racing. That's fun. Doing GTA. I think we do have Hunt the Streamer this weekend. It's already been pushed back a couple of days. It might get pushed again. Well, if it does stay on Sunday, we'll do that. So I'm going to take Saturday off, and I'm going to switch my schedule around again. I want to take Saturdays off, and I want to put Mondays on. So we're going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with GTA racing on Saturday. And if there's any launches during the weekend, we'll obviously cover them. That is a little bit better. Yeah. Basically, I'm going to start doing it this week, and we'll try it out for the rest of December and see how that works. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm the Ramen King. Sure. So Ramen King is returning on Saturday. God, I hope not. Dude, I don't need to touch a beer for a long time after that night. So if you're looking for Minecraft on Saturdays, I'm going to move Minecraft to Mondays, and we will have Minecraft Mondays. Yeah? Yeah, so we will move Minecraft to Monday. Same time, just on Monday. I do want to showcase what the community has been doing in Minecraft, so that's what we'll do. And maybe we'll just make Mondays like a round robin day, and then we'll just play Kerbal for the rest of the week. But yeah, this Saturday off is actually really nice. Really nice to have. It makes it super handy for me. But I do like coming back for GTA racing. I think Monday through Friday, Hellfish, with racing on Saturday and rocket launches, any rocket launch that happens on the weekend we'll cover. I think Monday through Friday it's good. Like I tried it last week, and the only reason I took Monday off and it's because I had a bunch of meetings and other things to do. But honestly, having the actual weekend and having my days off coincide with Brimo's days off is super nice. But I still want to do GTA racing. GTA racing ain't going anywhere. Come race with me. It's fun. We had a lot of people come in on Saturday, and it was amazing. It was really fun. Most fun I've had in GTA in a long time. The fun that I can remember. But that may have had something to do with it, but don't worry. So you're starting streaming into a day job. Soon you'll say you'll be going 9 to 5. No, we're not doing that. Hell no, Nova. I'm not doing that at all. Alright, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a full day. I'm going to go get some rest. Let's see who we can raid in the meantime. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, as always. Guys, and once again, this is just a trial. If you guys like it at the end of December, so we'll do State of the Stream to start the new year. If you guys like it, you tell me. If we don't like it, let me know. I can go back to the regular schedule. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's just I'm trying to align my days off with Brimo's because we don't really see each other during the week. We only see each other on Sunday. And I don't like that. I'll be honest with you. I don't like that. Brimo's been literally putting up with that crap for years, so I'm not a fan. We got stuff to do. We got a house. We got to keep the house running and stuff. So, yeah, seeing your significant other is 1 day a week is not cool. Not cool. Yeah, Kulani bingo. Yeah, you got it. So, alright. There's not anybody... Well, Haas is streaming again, if you guys want to go see what he's up to. But I rated him yesterday. So I try to not do that all the time. Hooded, hey, 18-month resub. So I'm actually just going to dip out. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for SWAT. And then, yeah, tomorrow we should have flights to get all the ground stations up and running. And more Falcon 9 after that, shuttle missions, and then racing. We got Bristol, baby. Bristol. That should be fun. Bristol. NASCAR's at Bristol in VR. Yeah, passing. Yeah. The thing is like, dude, I don't have a work-life balance. That doesn't bother me too much, but, you know, I got a house to maintain and stuff, and one day is not enough time to keep a house maintained, to be honest with you. Like, that's the truth. Tessa, I'm going to go with what I have now and then go from there. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow bright and early. Have a good night, and thank you.